Hey, what's going on, family? It's Brother Andrew, and welcome to this professional development session. This professional development session will be going over, developing a clear and consistent discipline policy. I will be utilizing data from my own experiences where I'm currently teaching as a third grade teacher here at Churchland Academy Elementary School. For those of you who are not new to the channel, welcome back. Good to see you again. But for everybody who's new to the channel, I like to greet you, and I like to greet you and welcome you, and just give you a little bit of background about myself. I am a current third grade teacher in the United States for all my viewers abroad. In the state of Virginia. I'm a recent graduate of Old Dominion University, where I received my Bachelor of Science in elementary education with licensure to teach pre-K through sixth grade. So this is my second year teaching third grade, and we're gonna discuss in this PD today how to create a clear, more consistent approach to student behavior management. This session will break down our current policies, we'll clarify some expectations, and discuss how to categorize referrals properly. We'll also address some of the biggest challenges we face, and we'll gather some feedback to refine our approach. Now, this feedback will be coming from the comment section. So throughout the PD, you'll be prompted to participate by heading over to the comment section and leaving your input. That input could help the next teacher out who's maybe struggling with things that you have some knowledge on. So let's do that. Let's get the conversation going in the comment section. Now, before we dive in, I'd like to take a moment to just reflect on my year thus far, some of the things I'm seeing, and just let you know kind of how the year going for me. What I'm saying? This is a different year for me. Like I said, this is my second year in third grade. Last year I was awarded the opportunity, finishing out my degree, to have my own classroom, and I took over that classroom in the middle of the year in January, and that really was a challenging situation because it was a new formulated class composed of students from 3 separate classes, and I ended up with about 15 students, and it really challenged me to hone in on my classroom management skills, and it forced me to learn of all the tools that I had at my disposal. So for this particular professional development, I will be talking about a lot of the procedures and things tailored towards my school that I teach at, but a lot of the things that we will go over are applicable at other schools or even other districts. But I do like to just remind you that you should have a faculty and staff handbook that outlines the procedures for your specific school and your specific district. And I will always say, lean towards those if there are any differences in the things that we discuss in this PD today. But like I said, we're talking in general, and a lot of things are going to apply, even if you're not affiliated or associated with Churchland Academy Elementary School or Portsmouth Public School in general. With all that being said, hey, let's take a moment to really reflect. Let's reflect. I want you to head over to the comment section, and I want you to kind of, engage with each other. What are some of the discipline challenges that you're seeing in your school this year? You leave a comment down below. Are you noticing an influx in student outbursts? Are students walking out of the classroom more? Are students fighting more? Like, what challenges are you seeing in the school? And hey, if you see someone who maybe have some things in the comment that you have information on, or some strategies that's worked for you or your school in the past, hey, help them out. We're helpers of one another. So let's start the conversation. Let's get the conversation going. And yeah, I'm gonna dive right into some of the data from colleagues in my building of feedback that we're seeing as some of the biggest discipline challenges that we're facing here at Churchland Academy Elementary School. Okay, so right now, some key discipline challenges that we're seeing is based on observation and feedback. Inconsistent enforcement of policies. We're seeing disagreements on appropriate disciplinary actions. Some teachers have voiced concerns with students returning to class with minimum consequences that fail to deter unwanted behavior. And we also noticed specific behaviors such as teacher disrespect, temper tantrums, and students walking out of class are among some of the things that teachers have voiced challenges with inside of our building. Me personally, I've witnessed a number of these things. I wouldn't say everything on this list is new or just specific to this year, because I did notice some of these last year as well. So our efforts to kind of minimize these or limit these are ongoing and have been for at least from last year as well. But I have noticed inconsistencies in the enforcement of certain rules and inconsistencies in the disciplinary actions that's being handed out as well. And I think that's a huge problem. We want to be consistent in our approach, and not only for the students but for the staff. Like, I feel like we work together better when we're all on the same page. When that inconsistency in there, it just breeds confusion, and we don't want to be authors of confusion. We want to be on the same page when it comes to enforcing the policies that we have for behavior management within our school system. But we're going to discuss other things in the PD that's going to help us, be more consistent and be on one accord. Moving forward, now I want to really look at some of our current strategies that we have in place, and the place that we're going to be able to find these current strategies. Number one is going to be our faculty and staff handbook, as I mentioned before. Now, I will be utilizing Churchland Academy's handbook, and if you are at a different school or a different district, feel free to at any time review these. And there are times in the year where reviewing these strategies is important. Like, for instance, the beginning of the year, we always take time to, go over the expectation in the classroom. But there are times in the year where it's key to really go over these things again, like times where students have large breaks. It's good to go over with them the expectations coming off that winter break, that long break. And right now we're towards the end of the school year, middle of spring, we're going into spring break. So immediately coming off that spring break is a time where, I like to really go over, the expectations with my students and just refresh for myself. So, I could just, stay up to date on the tools and the procedures that I need to be on to facilitate a classroom with good behavior management skills. So, like I said, we're taking a look at our Churchland Academy faculty and staff handbook. This is where you're gonna, this is your go-to piece right here, because it has all of the information we need to really do what we need to do to minimize these unwanted behaviors. So if we navigate, I want to highlight a few things in this handbook. I went to the classroom management section, and I'm not going to read our whole handbook to you. That's not what we're here for. But I'm pretty sure your school, your district has resources like this as well, where you can go to and find. And for all my teachers at Churchland Academy Elementary School, you can find this in our drive. The principal recently put a link inside the email that she sent for this week. So this is accessible. We have physical copies, but we also have them digitally as well. So review it. It has a bunch of good information. It has behavior support, our expectation. It has our procedures outlined in there. And this is a good book, good information to review, so that you can be on the same page, so that you could be aligned up with your colleagues, with your fellow teachers, so there's not discrepancies in the enforcement of certain things. Everybody should be enforcing the exact same thing, and that consistency is not gonna only make your job easier, it's gonna make the student's job easier. It's gonna allow them to know what to expect and what is expected of them. And I think that's an important aspect in having a well behaved, just an environment where students are well behaved. And not saying it's going to get rid of all of your problems, because that's unrealistic, but we want to minimize all that we can. You know what I'm saying? Just building that consistency, I think, is a great step in having a well managed school and classroom. Okay, so if you can look in our handbook, it has procedures for a lot of things. We talk about writing referrals, and this is going to be something that we're going to highlight a little later. We're going to go over maybe referrals that are not as well written, and then we're gonna review some referrals that display kind of what we're looking for, what admin needs in order to do everything they need to do once a referral has been made. So yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna read the handbook. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things that you can find within your handbooks. So moving on, this is just a snapshot of policies we currently have in place. It talks about the PBIS implementation. We're going to encourage positive behaviors, and we use a system, Patriot Points. So I think that's a good point, a good something good we can hit on now. So okay, we use what's called Patriot Points here at Churchland Academy Elementary School, and now Patriot Points it's a reward-based system that we issue out what's called Patriot Points to reinforce positive behaviors. And it's been shown to be very, very effective with our students, especially like the middle grade level. You know what I'm saying? Not as effective as sixth grade, you know what I'm saying? But I know definitely in third grade, our children, our students, they're looking forward to Patriot Store. And it kind of encourages those positive behaviors that we're seeking within the school. So there are guidelines and stipulations on how to issue out Patriot Points, because with anything, We want to be consistent. We want everyone to be on the same page as to how to get them. Because if one student is getting Patriot points for displaying positive behavior, and then one student is getting Patriot points for a whole nother reason, that's defeating the purpose of what we're doing with the Patriot points. So, reminders, Patriot points are earned and never taken away. Like, it's a positive reinforcement thing. It's not like a punishment thing. Like, oh, you got 5 Patriot points, you're not acting right, give them back. Like, that's not what we're doing with the Patriot points. Like, once they earn them, they're theirs. And we have outlined when we're supposed to give them out as well. So we're not keeping a tally and passing them out later. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to positively reinforce these behaviors when they happen. So immediately when a child is displaying or has displayed behavior that you want to reinforce, or you want to show, them that you see that they're trying, they're putting effort in, you want to do it right away. You know what I'm saying? That way we can encourage those star behaviors. That's like an acronym that we have inside Churchland Academy Elementary. Being successful, trustworthy, act responsibly, and respect. When students are displaying any one of those characteristics, we like to acknowledge that right away, and we do it using Patriot points. How many Patriot points can a student earn? Ideally, students should receive 2 Patriot points per day. And some students, they challenge you to find opportunities to give them 2 a day. But that's the thing, a lot of times those are the students who benefit the most from the Patriot point system, are the ones that you're actively searching to find things to issue out Patriot points for. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of those students, they don't really receive that positive feedback a lot, because we may be always redirecting them or correcting their behavior. So just getting them used to that positive interaction from teachers can really boost their self-efficacy and just being able to manage their behaviors better. And I've noticed the effectiveness of the Patriot points as well. So yeah, that's the system we use. It's a level 1 implementation of the PBIS team, and it's shown to be very effective in our school. So what are some things you guys are doing inside your classes that positively reinforces behaviors that you want to see? What are some things that y'all are doing? That's one that we are doing. All right, moving on, we're going to talk about our referral system. All right, now we have a referral system. So whenever students are displaying behaviors in the classroom that may be deemed unsafe or overly disruptive over a period of time, we have a system where this child can be a referral can be entered in for this child for admin to review and to possibly help us with that situation. Now, there are 2 different types of infractions that a referral can be made for. Now, you have minor infraction, you have major infractions, and I think this would be a good time to review the differences, the similarities, to kind of help us understand which is what and when it is appropriate to refer a student, because not everything requires a referral. As an elementary school teacher, we can't just run to admin for every little thing that happened in your classroom. That's not what this is about. So, developing those classroom management skills and being able to put out a bunch of those fires before admin gets to it is a skill that need to be developed. Because I don't know a perfect classroom. I don't know a classroom that have any interact. I mean, it probably exists, but I ain't never had one. You know, so we can't just stop and write students up for every little thing. And we have outlined, you know, the procedures for those things. So now I want to pull up. I have a list right here. Now this is a good list. It's a list of classroom managed behaviors and office managed behaviors. Now, classroom managed behaviors are behaviors that should be, they should be handled in the classroom, you know, and at a certain point, if the things you're implementing, the interventions that you're doing in the classroom are not helping this behavior or improving this behavior, yes, minor referrals can be made. Now, there's stipulation and guidelines on these minor referrals as well. So right now we just have a list of types of behaviors, and we have them categorized for things that are minor and things that are major. Now, major referrals are going to go to admin, and they're going to immediately assist us with those things. So like things like disruptive behavior, as far as like talking out, making noises, being off task, or, you know, mild disrespect towards the peers or teachers, like rolling your eyes, talking back, being sarcastic. While those things are, you know, disruptive and frustrating, they're not really things that we're going to immediately go to the admin write referrals about. No, we're going to go in our bag, we're going to go in our classroom management bag, and we're going to utilize our tools to try to, you know, enforce positive interactions with the students. And when all those are exhausted, we could proceed further after that. But now we do have some behaviors that are just cut and dry. It's like, hey, you know, this is serious. We need some assistance right now. And things like physical aggression, like hitting, pushing, fighting, throwing objects. You know, it's our job to keep ourselves and the students safe. So any type of physical aggression within the classroom needs to be addressed immediately. And things like threats or harassing, you know, destruction of property. These are all offenses that are major and should be addressed that day. Now, when we're talking about major offenses, there are specifications on when these referrals should be made. I understand that our day is not always conducive to stopping everything we're doing and putting a referral in, but it is important to get these major referrals in, because these type of behaviors from students, we want to be addressed that day. We don't want a student to come to school the next day and start the process of addressing a major referral from the day prior. We want to ideally we want to handle it that day. And I think I've read that it was recommended that we try to get those referrals in no more than an hour after it's occurred. That way, you know, it could be a speedy process in addressing that behavior and ensuring everybody is safe. So this is a good list. It's not all inclusive, so there may be things on the list. There may be things not on the list that could fit in either category, but I think this is a good start on things you can look for that are minor or major offenses. So let's understand the referral process a little more. I think we already went deep enough into that. So no, a referral should always include clear, objective details. That's the issue that I've been seeing. Even myself, when I first did my first couple of referrals, it was like general. I was just getting it out there because of time. Like I'm like, I ain't got enough time to be writing down word for word everything this child on said and done. It's so much. But the number one thing is a referral is not to be made for a lot of different mini events. Major referral especially is just for a singular event. That's something to be to take note of. It's for a singular event, right? Not a combination of events. Because I've been in situations where I'm with a child and I'm like, man, you like this the 19th time I don't told you, you know what I'm saying? And I want to include that in all in the referral process, but it don't really go like that. You'll have the opportunity to, allude to a lot of those other things with the listing of your interventions that taking place before you make the referral. But when we're talking about incidents, we want them to focus on the one incident that the referral is for. Now, some things that we're gonna want to include in our referrals are where did the incident take place? What did the student do? How was the student redirected? And what was their response? We want to list what interventions were used prior to the referral. And so we need to be utilizing our PBIS strategies. So we have things set in place here at Churchland Academy, and these things may differ depending on your school, your district, and what your principal or your administration have outlined as the proper procedures for your building to go through. So on the screen I have a let's say an example of this is not a real student. So if your name Jane Smith or a Jane Smith, we not talking about that one. This is a made up situation. But anyway, we have a example of a referral that's been written. And I'd just like to take a moment for everybody to review this and let me know. Do you feel like this is a well-written office referral, or do you see some improvements that could be made? And, I'll give you a few seconds. I ain't here to read to you. We ain't doing read alouds. You know what I'm saying? But I want to break it down. I want to look at what it's talking about. So the first thing I'm seeing is it seems pretty vague to me. It seems pretty vague while I'm looking at it. I think it could be much more detailed. Words like acting out and disrespectful, they don't describe the actual behaviors. And that's the thing we need to be looking for when we're writing these referrals, and as admin is looking at them. They're looking for specific behaviors. Like, what is acting out? Like, that could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. You know what I'm saying? What I consider acting out, the next teacher may not consider acting out. Like, a child could be standing up at their desk. To that teacher, that's acting out. To me, that child just standing up at their desk. They ain't disrupting nobody. They good. They ain't blocking nobody's view. So we have to be specific when we're writing these referrals. That way admin could accurately, assess what the next step is going to be. Now, there are no specific details. What exactly was she throwing? Okay, it says she throwing things. Okay, what things is she throwing? Is she throwing cotton from her coat? Is she throwing bricks? You know what I'm saying? Depending on what she throwing, the response is gonna be different from admin. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to really know it's a lot in between when you just say throwing. You know what I'm saying? Is she throwing sharpened pencils? Or, is she throwing footballs? We don't know. You know what I'm saying? We want to be detailed. What is she yelling? Is she yelling? Like, I could yell a nice thing. I love you. I could yell that. You know what I'm saying? What is she yelling? We need to know specifically, because people interpret things differently, and we just want to all have a full picture. And that way you can just do the referral one time. One time is fine with me. I'm not trying to write a referral and then have admin come ask me for clarification. Now I got to take another 10 minutes out my day to open up an email and do the same thing that I thought I already did. So if you don't want to be redoing stuff or people backtracking coming to you, just put all the necessary information for them to have the full complete story. And also, I want to know, we want to refrain from like putting our feelings into it. You know what I'm saying? Just stick to the facts. Just say what the child did and proceed no further. We ain't got to put no extra stuff in here like they did down here. Like, she is always causing problems. Like, ain't no child always causing problems. Like, and I got a couple who will try to challenge you on that. They'll push you, and really some days they make you feel like that, but even they don't always cause problems. So we want to refrain from using that type of language as well. We don't want to use judgmental language. We just want to stick to the facts. We ain't talking about what she always does. We talking about this specific infraction that we're writing this referral for, what is going on right now. So stay out your feelings. Stay out your feelings and just stick to the facts. And also in this referral, I didn't see no mention of interventions. That's a major thing that we're going to need to see in these referrals. What are you doing prior to making this referral? Because these are the questions that admin is going to be faced by, and I see it far too often. Parents ain't trying to have you suspend a child. They send them to school so they can go to work, and they have their time freed up to go make money and do other things. So I understand, but parents, hey, you talking about how are you finna suspend a child? No, most parents is not going for that. They're gonna be like, what was you doing? What happened with this situation? That's why it's important for us to fill out these referrals properly and as complete as we can, so admin could really speak up for us. Like you say, do you got my back? It's hard for somebody to have your back when you ain't. You don't want to get behind the things that we got set in place to have your back. You know what I'm saying? So if you really want admin to, issue out if you really want admin to discipline students in a way that's appropriate, you have to give them all of the information to justify those decisions, because they're going to get pushback from parents. They're going to get pushback from other stakeholders who it's not in their best interest to have students suspended or placed in different locations and things like that. So, while you may deem it necessary, you have to have the paperwork to support those things, and that way admin can have your back. You know what I'm saying? And that comes with putting your interventions in place. What have you done before this referral process? If not, admin may come back and ask you, like, We know that you sent them to the office because you said they was blurting out in class. Did they do this once? Did they do it twice? You're not being really specific. We can't justify moving this student to another class because the information that you have on here doesn't show that our PBIS guidelines have been followed. What was your level 1 interventions? What was your level 2 interventions? Like, make sure you're putting these things in your referral, so you don't want to waste people's time. It takes time to open these. It takes time to read these. And if we taking time out of our day to open these up and read these, and you're putting half of the information, now I got to come back to you and fill in the gaps. Like, that's not my job. My job is to make a decision on what we're going to do moving forward, but you're not giving me enough information to do that properly. And then when I make a decision that's you're not in agreement with, you don't know why. You know what I'm saying? So that's a disconnect that we have, and we want to allow admin to help us by providing them with all the information we need in these referrals, so that we can get the outcome that's best for not only us but the students as well. So that's all I got to say about that. But I do want to show you an example of a well-written referral. You know, I think this, not only do we show, the challenges, but I think it's good to show a well-written one as well. Now, this is a similar situation. It's made up. James Smith, if you out there somewhere, we ain't talking about you. But anyway, if you could look at this one, this referral is a lot more detailed. And it includes a lot of interventions that was taken. So that way, when this referral gets to admin or a decision maker, they're going to be able to have the back of the teacher. They're going to be able to support the teacher's decision to request more resources or outside help, because they put all the things they do. Okay, verbal reminders, they offer them breaks, try to de-escalate the situation, another verbal reminder, redirect it, so these are all steps that are documented now, that's been taken. And it's important to have this properly done, because it really provides a good paper trail to help us track, recurring behaviors that students may be struggling with. So when we're having meetings about these things, we can have an accurate account of what the student has been displaying over time. Got a couple more topics we can hit on. I want to talk about just reinforcing the framework. So, like I mentioned before, there are times in the year where it's good to just catch up on and refresh on the expectations, not only of the students, but of the teachers as well. Recently, we received an email from our assistant principal that kind of highlighted some things that we may need to refresh on or stay in remembrance of. And she just reminded us that students should not be sent to the office unless it was necessary. And she gave us some alternate things that we could do, like follow the outline behavior support expectations, which is outlined within our staff and faculty handbooks. We have things in place such as utilizing buddy rooms and documentation before escalating to administration. So we want to be making note of all the interventions that we're doing before we're escalating these issues to admin. Now, I do want to address something that I've noticed within my school, and that's like lack of staff. Like, the buddy system is good, and we have what's called a room that our students can like go to decompress and to gather themselves. But there's times that room is not really accessible, or it's not staffed or not manned. And I don't know if that's a staffing issue, but it is an issue. So I would like for a review of our policies and our PBIS strategies that we have in place, so that we can ensure that we're able to utilize all those tools that are listed there. You know what I'm saying? So if we're using a reset room, let's make sure we have someone in that room to be utilized, because what good is a tool if you don't have access to it when you really need it? You know what I'm saying? Availability is the best ability. So we have things set aside for our school, such as using a reset room, which is great. The idea of it, the concept of it is great, but the implementation of it has been kind of lacking, you know, because me personally, I went to use it a couple of times. It wasn't available. You know what I'm saying? So I had to go a different route, which it's nothing wrong. I'm willing to adjust and adapt, but I would like to see something like that reset room being able to be manned much more than it has been, because it's not only an isolated event where that room could have prevented admin involvement, but wasn't available. So I think that's something that we can work on as well, just ensuring that we have enough personnel to really support the strategies that we're trying to implement to manage behaviors. All that being said, we're about to wrap it up. If you feel like you got any value from this professional development, hit thumbs up button and consider subscribing to the channel. If you have some topics you want me to discuss later on, or maybe research and bring to you, hey, leave it in the comment section. I check them out, and I will definitely do that. I'll definitely check them out and pick and choose, you know, a couple cool topics and bring them to you. I'm very passionate about education, and I think that YouTube, this is a good platform to share useful information and help us do the best we can to nurture the young minds that's going to be in charge one day. So yeah, like I said, I hope you got something from this video. I'm tired, but it's good, and I thank you for listening. Brother Andrew, I'm out. Peace.